Welcome to Nothing But Nets. We are back. It's good to be back. Guys, please smash the like button. Please subscribe. Follow me on all forms of social media at 3D Boxing and 3D Boxing blog. We're going to get into Tyrese Martin, who got the final uh, two-way spot on the Nets roster. Interesting decision. Came down to a couple of guys, and there still may be a buyout, so we may see Bojan Bogdanovic get bought out, meaning that potentially Killian Hayes, I would imagine, would be added to the roster. But we'll find out. Tyrese Martin is a somewhat local product. He went to UConn. He's from Allentown, Pennsylvania, so he's from not too far away. He played at URI for 2 years, then transferred to UConn. Had his best year in his junior season. Well, he had his best year in his senior season. He shot 43%, averaged 13.6 points per game to go along with about 2 assists and 5 rebounds. So he played well there. There's upside. You guys know that I would have kept Amari Bailey. That's who I really wanted to see get that roster spot. I knew that was a long shot. But originally, so was Tyrese Martin. He really played himself onto the roster. He played well in the preseason. He played 12 minutes a game, averaged 5 points per game, 1 rebound. He also had 2 blocks and 3 steals in the 4 games. He played well, especially in games 2 and 3. And then when he got minutes and he got burned in game 4, the final preseason game, I kind of knew that he was getting the spot, right? Because of Amari Bailey, Tariq Whitehead, those other guys, they weren't getting any minutes. Jackie Sway, but he did, and he got some minutes. So I was like, okay, they want to see him with the regulars, with the guy that's going to be on the roster. That means he most likely is going to be on the roster. 6'6", 6'7", depends on who you ask. 215 wings, 6'8" wingspan. Not bad. Versatile defender, and I think that's why he's on the team. He can guard multiple positions. I believe he can guard 2, 3s, and 4s. Athletic, above the rim, good skills, good size. Like I said, there's a lot of defensive upside. Most of his upside, I would say, at the NBA level, comes on the defensive side. He can switch well, quick feet, good speed, good leaping ability, rebounds well for a wing. Like I said, his most important trait is he's a versatile wing. He's a versatile defender, which to me, if you're asking me what are the 2 most important skills that you can have in today's NBA, 1 is shooting and 2 would be defensive versatility. So he's got that. He's excellent in transition. Like, he's athletic. He finishes well. He can finish around the basket. He's got athleticism. In 22-23, he played in Atlanta. Played for the Hawks. He averaged 1.3 points per game, shot 39% and 14% from 3. 23-24, he spent the entirety in the G League. He played for 4 seasons of college hoops, 2 at, like I said, 2 at URI and 2 at UConn. Averaged 11.1. Vastly improves his 3-point shooting his senior season, at 43% from 3. That has not translated so far, but most of his work in the NBA has been limited. He hasn't gotten a bunch of minutes. So I don't want to knock his shooting. I didn't get to see much of his shooting in the G League. What I did watch, it still didn't look great, but he shot the ball well. He shot the ball fairly well in the preseason. The first 3 games, he shot a total of 3 for 8 from 3, and then the last game he played just 1 minute, and he missed the 3. But he shot the ball well. Can he improve his shooting? Can he become a better shooter? If he can, I think he has the ability to become a decent player. He can get to the hole, good hustle. It's not a bad pick to put him on the roster. He hustles. He can play well in the pick and roll. He can defend the pick and roll. He's not a great shooter, but he can create his own shot, and the Nets are going to need some of that. He can create shots in the mid-range. He can finish, and he can create shots in the half court. He's got a little bit of mid-range game. And I'm not sure where he fits in on this roster. The Nets seem to be loaded with wings. They don't have ball handlers. Amari Bailey could handle the ball, which is why I wanted to see Amari Bailey on the roster. But Tyrese Martin, like I said, he played his way on the roster. Tyrese Martin definitely played better than Amari Bailey in the preseason, and he's earned himself that spot. So he played better than Jackie Sway, although Jackie Sway cooked that one game in the G League in the preseason. But Tyrese Martin looked to be a more complete player, more versatile player, and Sean Marks is looking for above the rim guys who can do multiple things. Tyrese Martin is an above the rim guy who can do multiple things. If he can shoot, he's got a decent wingspan, he's got a decent body, he's very athletic. He could be a potential role player. He could certainly have a role on the Nets. You go back to that 18-19 team and the years before that, and the guys that he hit on, Spencer Dinwiddie, Joe Harris, guys that really overperformed and guys who made a way for themselves in the NBA. He's looking to do that. And, Tyrese Martin has more of an upside than does Killian Hayes. I put Amari Bailey in that conversation. I think Amari Bailey has more upside than Tyrese Martin, but they went with Martin because Martin played better in the preseason, and that's certainly understandable. My issue is, where do you find minutes for him? And guys like Lockdown are going to tell you that, well, there's plenty of minutes throughout the season, and maybe they could be right. But I'm looking, you're loaded with wings. You still have Finney Smith. You still have Cam Johnson on this roster, plus you have Jalen Wilson. You have Zaire Williams. You have so many guys that play the three or a small four. Where do you put them? Right? You're still going to give Ben Simmons minutes. I don't know where you're going to give him minutes, but obviously you're going to play Ben Simmons. You got Finney Smith. You got Cam Johnson. Plus you have Jalen Wilson, Zaire Williams. You've got so many guys that are going to compete for those minutes. At Trendon Watford, I don't see any where are you going to find him minutes? Is he going to spend the time in the G League? We'll see. Like, what do we got for him? Because ideally, I want to see Zaire Williams on the court with Clowney. I want to see Clowney on the court with Claxton. I want to see Jalen Wilson on the court with those guys as well. I don't really see any minutes for Tyrese Martin, although I'm sure they can find something for him. But honestly, when you got guys like Jalen Wilson, guys like Zaire Williams, guys who are fighting for a spot, fighting for their NBA lives, they want to be on the courts, and they're not going to ask for days off. They're not going to want to sit, and they're not going to need load management. They're going to be playing every day because they've got something to fight for. Tyrese Martin also has something to fight for, and he's not as good as those guys, I don't think. Right? Like Trendon Watford wants to be in the NBA. Zaire Williams wants to be in the NBA. Jalen Wilson wants to be in the NBA. And they're going to maximize every single minute they can get. And they want to be on the court. And they're not Joel Embiid saying, I want to sit out back-to-backs. If you told Jalen Wilson right now, you're going to play 82 games and play 20 minutes a game, he was going to jump at it. And so would Watford and so on and so on and so on. Now, that most likely not going to do that. But I just don't see where these minutes. Whereas if you would have put Amari Bailey on the roster, there's minutes for him as a guard. There's minutes for him because he can handle the ball, he can play the point, and he can play off the ball and create his own shot. You don't have any guards not named Cam Thomas, right? You got Schroeder, but who are you playing with Schroeder, right? Like if Schroeder's your point, if Schroeder comes off the bench, now who's your point? You don't have another guy. You don't have a secondary or tertiary ball handler, shot creator, right? You've got Schroeder at the point, Cam Thomas at the two. That's a defensive liability. Amari Bailey could guard ones and twos. Schroeder and Cam can't guard ones or twos. To me, it made more sense to roll with Amari Bailey. I'm not mad at Marks. I'm not mad at the Nets organization for Tyrese Martin. I was very, very impressed with the way Tyrese Martin played. And if it was up to me, I would probably look to buy up Bogdanovich and put Amari Bailey on the roster. Just me, just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. What did you think? Defensively, I like a lot what Tyrese Martin has to offer. Like I think he fits in with what they're doing. But my point is, there's never a point, I don't think, unless Tyrese Martin really gets his shot down like he did his last year at UConn, where I'm going to put him on the court over Zaire Williams. Right? If it comes down to it, like you can put one of these two guys on the court 10 out of 10 times, I'm going to choose Zaire Williams, and 10 out of 10 times, I'm going to choose to put Trainer Watford on the court over him. So, I don't, again, I think in a way he earned his way. He earned a roster spot. So if you're just trying to give the guys who played the best the roster spot, I understand it in that sense. I just don't understand it from a rotational sense. Like there's never, I don't have any minutes for him where I probably have some minutes for Amari Bailey, and I could let Amari Bailey prove himself. I feel like Tyrese Martin's not going to get off the bench. I feel like there's just not any minutes for him. Well, we'll see. Jordi Fernandez, his rotation, how he likes to play, his coaching style. We'll see how he gets him in there. We'll see how he's used them and if he can get many minutes at all. Again, he's not terrible. I think he has a function. Like I said, his defensive versatility may earn him a spot on the court, earn him some minutes. But you got Zaire Williams. So it might be a little bit of overkill, but it's not bad. I don't think he's a bad player, and I think he's a guy with upside. I'm just hoping that Mark can figure out how to get him. 6'8", 6'8" wingspan, listed anywhere from 6'6" to 6'7", 215-pound wing who's excellent in the transition, finishes well at the hole, hyper-athletic, above-the-rim type of player. It's a pretty good player. Hopefully he can get on the court, and the Nets can see what we have in him. Let me know what you guys think. Do you want them to buy up Bogdanovic and add either Hayes or Bailey or someone like that to the roster? You don't have to do it right now. Like you can let those guys play in the G League for a little bit and then buy out Bogdanovic if you can't trade him. I would also look to buy out Ben Simmons if that's a possibility as well. I don't think it is. I would like to see Bailey and possibly Hayes on the roster as well. And right now that's not a possibility just due to numbers. But let me know what you guys think. Leave your thoughts, comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Follow 3Box on all forms of social media. It is October 20, 2024 from Texas to the world. Thank you, and God bless.